In this moment of now, I'd love to speak about befriending our egos. I feel like a lot of content or things that I hear or see, it's about like shutting the ego down, shutting it up, making it be quiet, making it, sit down from a perspective of like, I don't need you. You're making my life difficult. Get away from me. Which I will say, it definitely has a knack. Okay. But this is a learned knack. And so, what I'd like to talk about is the ego. What is the ego? And what should we be listening to? Because candidly, this exact thing was part of what helped me awaken, what helped me gain awareness for what actually matters and what it is, what life is, what the whole point of being here is. These deeper, more giant things, but it is very, very, very profound. But I also view and see it as very simple. So I'd like to walk through that with you. So the common confusion that we've been taught to figure out where our ego is and joust them, right? They've got too much responsibility, too much purview. And I will say this, my guides have said this many times. We do. We give our egos so much responsibility and so much leeway and runway. We also give them a ton of clout and a lot of roles. We somehow turn a lot of things over to our ego. We listen to our ego to direct our thoughts and our reactions and things. So I will say that there is an ounce of truth in it. But what is it? What enables us to see it? For me, in my journey, it was understanding that I am not the thoughts in my mind. I read a book, which I will so beautifully highly suggest reading, called The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. It is a profound book. It sat on my bookshelf for 4 years before I read it. I listened to the synchronicities around me and picked it up, read it, and literally it transformed my life. And I don't say that lightly. Coming from someone who is a self-proclaimed, very left brain human, I was able to absolutely open my eyes to so many things just from that. But Michael talks about as kind of the foundational layer of the book is that we are not our mind. Others call it the monkey mind, the thing that just keeps thinking and like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I need to do this and this is happening. And why is this happening? And it's like narrating our story. That is not us. And I'll never forget the first moment when I actually started to think about that. Like, okay, that voice that I hear, that's not me. It's like, really? So who the heck is that? Who broke in? Now I'm worried. Now I'm concerned. Like, what's happening? But that's not me. Who I am, my consciousness, I am the observer. I am the one way in the back, as Michael describes, into the ocean of consciousness that is behind me. And my ego is down in front. And I know it's a little bit of a mind pretzel when you're like, wait, so I have all these beings in me? Let's see it like that. For the sake of this conversation, let's see it like that. You have these different entities. You have these different beings, if you will, parts of you. But what my guides have shared, and I'll share what they shared about the ego here in a minute, but it is the voice that narrates a lot of things that are happening, but we need it here on earth. We are assigned essentially an ego when we incarnate here. Because our ego is the one who actually empowers, and Dolores Cannon talks about this, that the two reasons we're here is to experience emotions and limitations. Our ego is really good at identifying emotions, sniffing them out, defining them, and identifying limitations, finding out where the limitation is, where it started, where it's ending, why it's happening, like diagnosing something. Like our ego is really good at that. Really good at that. And so my guides would remind me that there are things that the ego is awesome at and that you have to have an ego to be here. So allow this message to be an invitation of we should not be trying to annihilate or eject our ego. No, our ego is our friend. How I describe our ego is kind of like one of the elements of our instrument cluster. It's one of the lights, or many of the lights, informing us of what's happening, what's going on, how fast we're traveling, what the temperature is inside, outside, like giving us all the data points. They're there for that. They're great for that. I want to feature another quote from Divya Kumar, who is one of my favorite authors on Substack. She just leads such a beautiful message and such a beautiful charge. But she says, behind every judgment, there's a nervous system on fire, an ego trying to be seen, and yes, a child still searching for consoling. So our ego is part of our identity. It's part of what's keeping us in this safety zone, if you will. Like, don't go right, don't go too right. You're good. Just stay right there. Don't move. It's trying and attempting to try to keep us safe. And it's attempting to help us see things and observe things and receive information. Literally, it's like the weird neighbor on the corner that knows where everyone is. Where you're like, do you have a job? Like, what's happening? You're just sitting in that house. You know who came out of their house. You know who left their house. You know where they went. Like, you know everything. That is your ego, my friends. And what I believe is that any opinion or instinct based, basically in reaction, that's then likely also charged with emotion, is the ego. It's trying to prove, it's trying to uphold an identity, it's trying to define itself constantly, which means it's trying to define you. And if we think we are our ego or are our egoic mind or our conscious mind, if we believe that is us, that narrative is us, we just basically get dragged around. Imagine we get dragged around like the neighbor on the corner. Because, you can go to the neighbor on the corner and find out where everybody is, and maybe they make you a nice little snack every time you go there. So, get a nice snack, get some news. But at some point you're like, oh my gosh, like, I got to get out of here. This is weird. This person knows where everyone is, right? Like, bless your soul. That's your ego. And as Michael also describes in multiple of his books, but whenever your stuff gets hit or impacted, you feel like, ow, that hurt. Ew, why are you doing that? Like, don't say that about me. That's not me. I'm telling you, any reaction, right? When your stuff gets hit, that's your ego. Because otherwise, I will tell you this, we would just be. If it wasn't for our ego, we would just be. We would be love. That is actually who we are. We must commune with it. We must connect with it. But that's who we really are, light and love. We are not our ego. We are not the defensiveness and the reactions and the up, down, all arounds and the injuries and the protection. And that is not who we are. But those are the barometers of our experience here in this incarnation here on earth. So first, it's about identifying that ego, understanding the ego, and in understanding, working alongside it. As I say, don't allow the ego to be in front of you. Pull the chair alongside you. It's you and your ego. It's not you versus your ego. Because your ego deserves to be seen and heard and acknowledged too. And when they're not, this is often what also kind of manifests into that inner child who's injured. There's a lot of parallels there. But what we do, if you will, the misconception, the misassignment, the miscrediting that we do is that we assume that the ego is us. And so we follow it and we do what it says. And it's kind of like running around kind of wild. Like, look at this. This is what the problem is. And then tomorrow, something else is the problem. Like, do you ever notice that it's just never good enough? It's like, wait, I thought I had to worry about this person. Now I got to worry about this. What is going on? I'm telling you, it's like the neighbor on the corner. It's just whatever is bigger, bolder, in your face, whatever's happening, whoever just drove by, that's your ego. And so that neighbor is not suited to run your life. Let's see it like this. That neighbor is not suited to run your finances. That'd be interesting, right? Wild spending sprees. I mean, funny enough, I'm saying this like from experience because, yeah, if you let it run away with things, I got to get this. If I get this, I'm going to be amazing. And you get that, and what happens? There's no amazing. Now what happens is that there's something else you need to get to be even more amazing. And you continue to chase and chase and chase, right? But by design, the ego is not well suited to take on all these things, these bigger roles. It's simply giving you perspective. It's simply giving you indicators, giving you data, giving you information. Because you, beautiful soul, you are the leader of your life. You are the architect. My guides shared, it is only your egoic mind who only has a very, very, very small, very, very, very small piece of the whole picture. One little tiny little glimpse through the gorgeous veil. Little tiny, just a little flash. That's its perspective. But you, as the observer, you have this gorgeous perspective. And then if you even zoom out even further and sit with your guides, you're at 100,000 feet, you're at 1,000,000 feet. You have the grandest perspective ever. Only if you want it. Only if you choose it. But my guides go on to lovingly describe, if you will, the job description. For lack of better words, the job description of our ego. It is for practical grounding. It is for execution, making decisions in the moment, looking at all the facts, getting the information. Like, it is literally the ability to see everything that's happening and to help you execute. It is not for planning. It is not for intuition. It is not supposed to replace your intuition, because your intuition is not your ego. It is different. It is a much different entity. I love Bashar. Bashar describes the ego. The ego is the diving mask. Okay. And I want to go with this metaphor because it is beautiful. And when you start to think about it from a realistic perspective, you're like, oh, wow. Okay. So it is this diving mask. Okay. And let's say you bought the super amazing, like it is top of the line, like clearer than clear, doesn't fog. I mean, you can dive in any water. Like, it is real nice, right? Just woo. Okay. So you put it on to dive into the water and you can see everything. Because imagine if you don't have a mask and you dive in the water, you can kind of see, see larger things. There's no real clarity. The water is hitting your eyes and you can tell that there's things around you, but you can't see. But man, when you put on this mask, it is like nothing else. It is vibrant. It is crisp. It is clear. I mean, you're like, wow, right? Like, this is amazing. But now I want you to think about this. So you go on your diving excursion. Let's say you see all these beautiful things and you come back into the surface and you're like, okay, great. Oh, this is so wonderful. I love this mask so much that I'm not going to take it off. Nope, not going to take it off. I'm going to get in the car with it. I'm going to drive with it. I'm going to get home with it. I'm going to get in the shower with it. Take a shower. And you're thinking like, this is still good. Okay, I can see this, right? You're in the shower. Be kind of fun. Spray yourself with water. You can still see. Right? Becomes adventurous. Then you get out of the shower and you keep that sucker on. You're going to go sleep with it. You're going to wake up with it. You're going to take another shower. And now you're going to do your work day with your mask on. You don't take it off. In fact, you almost never take it off. The minute you start to take it off, it starts to remind you, no, put it back on, because you can see clearly, right? I mean, yeah, but I can see clearly right now without it. I don't need it right now. I'm not diving. Here we are. We have arrived. This is the moment. And when I heard this from Bashar, and obviously I'm taking it way farther, I am acting the whole thing out, because for me, when I went down that road of thinking about it, that's when I realized we give our ego so much clout. It makes sense why my guides say that, because we keep the mask on 24/7. We don't take it off. We just keep telling ourselves, well, it's really good because we can see. Yeah, in the water. When are we next going diving? 2 months from now on our next trip. Okay. Well, then I'm going to take the mask off. No. Don't take the mask off. What if something happens? What if somebody throws juice in your face? What if it starts raining? What if you want to take 4 showers in a day? This is the conversation we have with ourselves. Or so we think. We are having a conversation with our ego. And of course, our ego wants to keep the mask on because it then has clout. It has value. It has something it's doing for you. But my friends, if you're not in the water, it's not really helping. It might even get in the way. I mean, depending on your diving mask, how intense it is, if it's a full face mask, imagine trying to eating with it. Like, open the little hatch door or try to pull the thing off so you can get a little scoop of cereal in there. Like, you're taking it to a point where now you're trying to work around it. And that is what my guides were trying to communicate. That exact thing. We're giving too many jobs, too many extras, too many things to this ego, when really it's assigned to us to help with execution, with literally of doing the diving. And in this case, doing the things, the daily things that need to be executed. It is excellent. It is exceptional at seeing things and understanding things and sensing things like, okay, this is what's happening and this is what we need to do. And if we want to do this, the weather, it's getting warmer. So let's put on something different clothing wise. that is where it excels. Wild, right? But I think we can all agree that when we go diving, it has a beautiful purpose. That mask is perfect. We can see, we can observe things. We can even take things in that we wouldn't be able to without it. We can see the fish and the details of the fish. If there's something funky in the water, it doesn't get in our eyes. It's like there are multiple benefits of that mask for that application of execution. And this is why we don't want to eject it. This is why we don't want to say, ew, ego, get out of here, eject button, and launch it into the oblivion. Because it does help. But again, it's not supposed to help in every single situation. Just select ones where we need to execute. So my beautiful invitation for you in this moment of now is not to banish it or feel defeated about it or feel it is not necessary. Instead, the opportunity for us is to learn how to use it. I can relate to this in a technology standpoint. If I buy something and I don't know how to use it, I mean, shoot, your mask could have a gazillion bells and whistles on it. If you don't learn how to use it, you can't maximize it. But this is the key. All we need to do is learn how to use it, learn how to work with it, learn the things that it does well, leverage it in those places and cases. And then when it wants to try to meddle in things that it's not supposed to be meddling in, we just say thanks. Hey, thanks for trying to protect me here too. Thanks for trying to help me out where the situation kind of does look like what happens when we dive together in the water. But it is a little different. So I'm going to take it from here, but thank you so much for letting me know. And hey, if you see something else, just let me know. It's just like that neighbor on the corner. Hey, thanks for letting me know the play-by-play on what's happening with our neighbors. Here's my perspective. I unfortunately can't pay attention to this. You're doing good. If that's what you enjoy, you do you. And guess what? If somebody is in trouble, then come get me because I'm happy to help. Or if somebody gets in trouble, here's the number to 911. Just establishing a boundary of what it is and what it is not. But this is part of learning how to use it. So what I'll leave you with here is what my guides shared with me. The ego is needed. It is very needed. That is how you navigate Earth. If you are on Earth, you are blessed with an ego. But you must learn how to use it. So my friends, the invitation is, let's get out that owner's manual. If your ego is indicating all the things, seek to understand, why are you sharing these things with me? Maybe at one point they were important, but now I don't need to know the news. I don't need to know when every neighbor pulls out of their driveway. Share those things, but share it from a place of love. Because when you go diving, you need your ego. Your ego is your BFF. And learning how to leverage the things that it's exceptional at is the blessed part of the human experience.